Hello, YouTube. In the fall of the year 1990, Soviet newspapers shocked their readers with a headline that was unthinkable a few years ago. Katya Mayorova, Miss KGB. At the end of 1980s, Soviet citizens suddenly focused on female attractiveness, which became the reason for organizing all kinds of beauty contests, both national and regional. The ranking of the most prestigious events was headed by Miss USSR and Moscow beauty contests. In the midst of glasnost and perestroika policies, the country's main intelligence service, which had always remained a closed structure, decided to take this unprecedented step. It was demonstrating to the public that ordinary people also work here, meaning the KGB. Among them were representatives, of course, females. Moreover, they were quite young and attractive. Swallows and honey traps. Until the end of the 1980s, information about female KGB officers was more like rumors than real insiders from within the structure and the operational practice of intelligence. There was this term swallows. This was the name given to attractive female employees whose task was to involve foreign diplomats or valuable sources of information in intimate relationships with subsequent blackmail. This strategy, known as the honey trap, was a standard tool for such events. Naturally, the identity of the swallows was kept a top secret. Against this background, the open demonstration of the image of a photogenic employee should have radically changed the perception of the KGB among the Soviet people. So Miss KGB, the 21-year-old Ekaterina Mayorova, became the perfect face of this PR campaign. The preserved archive photos show a carefully thought-out image of a pretty green-eyed brunette with a voluminous hairstyle fashionable in those years. There were also shots at the workplace with a handset in the hand against the background of Felix Dzerzhinsky portrait, which demonstrated a symbolic connection with the founder of the Cheka, that's the early name for the KGB, and the continuity of generations. Moreover, in the photo, one of them, a slender girl, appears during firing at a shooting range and in hand-to-hand combat training. In other words, we're not talking about a cabinet office employee, but a real KGB agent. Thus, this visual series created a portrait of an ideal employee, both feminine and professionally trained. Foreign journalists naturally became interested in the phenomenon of the Miss KGB. There was an interview in the American newspaper, the Washington Post. The correspondent, David Remnick, got the opportunity to interview Mayorova. However, it took place in the presence of an officer in charge of the press relations. As Remnick later recalled, Katya was charming for a man for a man who was trained to kill and belonged to one of the most terrifying organizations in the world. However, important questions about the work of the KGB were not answered. The girl said that the contest was held in the closed fashion and the number of participants remained a mystery. The journalist himself suggested there was probably no real competition. As part of creating a human image, Mayorova shared her personal preferences. That's how the readers found out that her favorite movie is Gone with the Wind, her hobby is knitting, her favorite treat is bananas, and her ideal man is James Bond. Well, Viktor Khrushchev's head of the KGB, Ministry of Love, was actually an unusual PR move with specific political goals. By 1990, the KGB's reputation had been seriously damaged by publications about repressions and the unsightly role of the secret services. Let's call it secret police in the Soviet history. The chairman of the KGB, Vladimir Khrushchev, who headed the department in 1988, actively tried to prove that his structure had been rebuilt. As part of this campaign, he held numerous press conferences, organized excursions to the Lubyanka, that's the center, the headquarters of the KGB, and created the image of an open and friendly special service. The Miss KGB election contest became part of this strategy, an attempt to show the human face of an organization associated exclusively with repression. Unfortunately, information about the future of Ekaterina Mayorova and her career in the special services is not available in open sources. Unfortunately, there was no information about the career and life path of the only female intelligence officer with the title Miss KGB in the public domain. The Soviet secret services knew how to keep secrets and still know. They're not Soviet anymore, but let's say Russia. In the 1990s and 2000s, the FSB of Russia practically did not advertise such internal beauty contests, although events dedicated to the March 8 International Women's Day continue to be held in regional law enforcement agencies. I just want to add that in 1991, the KGB released their UFO files, and you can find more information about such developments in my videos about the history of Soviet and Russian ufology. There's plenty in my channel. Great detail, which Western experts are clueless about. So I hope you look them up. So that's what I wanted to let you know today. If you like my research, please support to the links you find in the description to this video. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like my videos. Please let YouTube know you like my videos. Thank you.